Loyalty is a mask worn by those who know the stage, not the soul, governs power. A man does not rise by standing still in faith to another's reign. He rises by understanding when that reign begins to rot and smiling until the rot caves in. The dog who growls too early is put down. The one who waits inherits the leash. To appear loyal is to play a deeper game, not of servitude, but of timing. Power, in its rawest form, is not taken. It is left unguarded. A throne is not seized by force when the guard is watching it, is walked into when the guard believes you are kneeling. Men crave certainty, but politics is a shifting floor. To survive, one must learn to move without leaving footprints. Every ruler is surrounded by those who say yes, but the wise man listens to how the yes is said. The dangerous one is the loyal man who has learned patience. Betrayal is not born in sudden acts. It is cultivated slowly beneath the surface of obedience. And that, precisely, is what loyalty is worth in politics, not sincerity, but camouflage. The moment you confuse the performance of loyalty with the truth of it, you are already bleeding. To be truly dangerous, you must be forgettable until you are inevitable. And to become inevitable, you must appear loyal until the game has changed. Let the prince believe you serve him. Let the people believe you believe. Smile at their victories, carry their burdens, toast their ambitions, and all the while count the days. Watch the alliances bend, watch the morale fray, watch the light in their eyes dim. There is always a moment, always, when the hand that once fed you trembles. That is not the moment to flinch, that is the moment to devour. No leader falls without help, no empire collapses without whispers. And it is the whisperer, not the warrior, who determines the future. But to whisper effectively, you must first listen to their fears, their weaknesses, the cracks in their confidence. People do not hide their vulnerability from those who appear loyal. They confess to them. That is why betrayal must be dressed in intimacy. Why the dagger must come not from a stranger in the night, but from the hand that helped them up. It is not cruelty, it is precision. Loyalty, in the world of power, is not a virtue, it is a weapon. And every weapon must be held lightly until it is needed. Men will call you cold. Let them. They mistake their comfort for your character. They see your silence as allegiance when it is merely your patience. You do not need to shout your intentions. Those who shout rarely strike. The predator speaks softly. The storm begins with still air. Do not warn the world of your transformation. Transform when no one is watching. Let them believe you are unchanged until change is no longer deniable. The world respects loyalty, but it obeys results. And results are born from those who understand that appearance is everything. A traitor who wins writes history. A loyal fool is buried in the footnotes. Learn the faces of your masters, then learn their blind spots. Every king is blind somewhere, every tyrant deaf to one frequency. Your job is not to challenge them when they are strong. It is to become the echo of their strength until that echo turns into silence. Power is not about truth, it is about alignment. When your survival depends on a man, align with him. When his survival depends on you, realign the world. A revolution never begins with fire. It begins with a nod, a gesture, a silent withdrawal of belief. The explosion comes later after everyone has already decided they no longer fear the regime. But it is the quiet betrayers, those who smiled the longest, who lit the fuse. There is no glory in eternal service. There is only usefulness. When your usefulness ends, so will their kindness. So, end your loyalty before they end your future. Never announce your independence. Make them believe it was their idea. Let them open the gate, thinking you are still chained. Walk out calmly, and then, if needed, burn the bridge not as revenge but as strategy. The throne is not won by the most faithful subject. It is won by the last man standing after everyone else's mask has slipped. So wear yours well. Speak as though your heart is theirs. Work as though your fate is tied to theirs. And when the storm comes, and it always comes, let it wash away your allegiance. What survives the storm is not what was loyal. It is what was prepared. Loyalty is currency. And like all currency, its value changes with the regime. To cling to yesterday's allegiance in today's power structure is to go bankrupt. Appear loyal until the game has changed. Then become what they never saw coming. Because in this world, the crown is not inherited. It is outlived. You do not inherit survival. You perform it, moment by moment, inside the architecture of shifting fear. And the strongest man in the room is never the one who shouts. It is the one who observes in silence, knowing that every collapse begins with confidence. Beware those who ask for loyalty without consequence, for they have already prepared their exit. The powerful ask for faith when they begin to sense they are losing grip. They raise flags, they speak of unity, they invoke legacy, but what they are truly saying is, hold the walls while I find a way out. You must learn to hear that plea beneath the anthem, that desperation beneath the call to duty. And when you do not run to their defense, run to the shadows. There is no safety in a cause that cannot protect itself. The crowd will call you traitor. Let them. History does not remember the chorus, only the conductor. And the conductor is never loyal to the notes. He is loyal only to the music. You must ask yourself, am I loyal to the melody of today or the silence that comes after? Because when the music stops, the loyal will be the first thrown to the mob. The man who dances until the last drum beat is often still standing when the dust clears. This is not a philosophy of cowardice. It is the discipline of staying alive, of staying useful to the next regime before the last has even finished gasping. You must become the bridge between the collapse and the new order, not the rubble beneath it. Do not confuse elegance with weakness. The most brutal maneuvers wear the finest gloves. You do not crush your rival with a fist. You offer your hand and guide them off the cliff. That is the art of appearing loyal. You remain their compass until the map has changed. Some will call this manipulation, but what is manipulation if not the careful reading of human patterns? To lead men, you must understand them. And to understand them, you must first let them believe you are one of them. They will tell you that power isolates, that no one at the top can be trusted. This is true, but it is also useful, because isolation breeds desperation, and desperation opens doors no loyalty ever could. You do not knock on these doors, you wait by them. You wait for the hand that once waved from the balcony to tremble in doubt. You wait for the moment they need you to pretend you still believe. And in that moment, you are not a servant. You are leverage. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one with the sword. It is the one who knows who holds the keys and what they fear losing. Loyalty makes you predictable. Appearances make you indispensable. When the prince stumbles, you help him stand not because you care, but because the eyes are watching. When the people murmur, you calm them not because you agree, but because storms are more useful when timed. And when the fire comes, you are the last to burn. Do not pity the loyal who fall. They believed the lie you refused to believe. They thought the crown would protect them. They thought past favor was future shield. But power has no memory. It remembers only who it needs right now. So make yourself necessary, then remove the necessity. There is no final loyalty in power, only proximity to its source. And when the source runs dry, you must already be halfway to the next spring. The court is a forest of smiling predators, but the most effective predator is the one mistaken for prey. The loyal lapdog is ignored until his teeth are on the throat. Then it is too late. You will not be forgiven for this, But forgiveness is not the currency of rulers. Respect is, fear is, utility is. Let them fear disappointing you. Let them wonder whose side you're really on. That uncertainty is your shield and your sword. And when the next ruler asks for your loyalty, offer it. Smile, pledge, toast to the future. But in your mind, repeat the only oath that matters. I will serve until the game has changed. And when it does, I will not hesitate. Understand this. Loyalty does not vanish in fire. It dies in the quiet, in the slow erosion of faith that no one sees until the walls collapse. By the time disloyalty becomes visible, it is no longer disloyalty. It is simply reality. And those who cannot adjust to it become artifacts, men of principle buried beneath shifting tides. You do not need to destroy the old order. You only need to outlive it. Decay is the most patient assassin. It does not strike. It waits. And when it has hollowed out its prey, it merely touches, and everything falls. Let others fight for honor. You fight for position. Let others die for loyalty. You live for consequence. The ruler who cannot be questioned will be replaced not by a rebel, but by a shadow. By the quiet man who was always near, always agreeable, always helpful, until the moment he was not. Loyalty is rarely broken in one act. It is worn thin like rope pulled by too many hands. And when it snaps, those who notice the fraying early walk away unscathed. The rest fall with the weight of their own delusion. You must learn to see through the banners. Every emblem, every uniform, every motto, they are not truths. They are scaffolding. They hold up whatever lie power needs that year. And you walk beneath them, eyes open. You smile, you kneel, you serve. But in your chest, the compass is yours alone. Not tied to flag, nor faction, but to the movement of power itself. People will call you cynical. Let them. They call a man cynical when he refuses to drown in their illusions. They call him ruthless when he chooses to breathe, while others choke on yesterday's loyalties. But beneath the insult is fear, because they know deep down that the world belongs not to those who hope, but to those who notice. Power does not reward good men. It rewards useful men. Men who wait when waiting is required. Men who speak only when silence has finished its work. Men who know the difference between allegiance and survival. And when the new throne is built as it always is, the loyalists of the last king will beg for relevance. But you were already building relationships while they were chanting slogans. You were already adjusting your tone while they were still quoting speeches. You are not a traitor. You are a student of consequence. You understood what they would not, that no one in power truly expects loyalty, only the appearance of it. And that appearance, maintained with discipline, is more powerful than devotion. Even the new ruler will test you. He will watch your eyes, measure your silences, send gifts laced with implication. He will want to know, will this one turn too? And your answer will be, not yet. Because power, like fire, consumes everything, even those who believe they control it. And when the fire changes direction, only those already moving will survive. The rest will roast in the name of principles. You must learn to leave quietly. Not with defiance, but with discretion. Not by declaring a break, but by ceasing to invest. A withdrawal of faith is louder than a scream, if done with timing. Because disloyalty is only punished when it is premature. Once the regime weakens, the same act becomes foresight. You must cultivate the art of staying one gesture ahead. Not too far, for that is visible. Not too late, for that is fatal. Just enough to be in the next room before the door collapses. And when the past is burning, do not look back. You were not made to guard statues. You were made to sculpt new ones in your image. Let them call you opportunist. Opportunity is the air power breathes. And you are simply the one who remembered how to breathe when the smoke filled the room. The game has no end, only phases. Each ruler believes he is the final act, that his architecture will last beyond the horizon of time. But time has no loyalty either. It erodes the marble, silences the anthem, forgets the oath. All that remains is what was seized and what was survived. You must learn to read the signs, not the speeches. Watch where the guards look when no one speaks. Watch who stops laughing at the court jester's jokes. Power leaks before it collapses always, and it leaks through silence. The crowd senses it first, in the stomach. A tightening, a doubt, a flicker in the eyes of those who once spoke with certainty. And in that moment, loyalty turns from anchor to weight. You must never be anchored. Not to men, not to flags, not to stories told to the masses. Anchors sink with the ship. You are not meant to sink. You are meant to float and build again on new shores. But this demands solitude. The truly dangerous man walks alone inside. Even as he smiles, even as he celebrates, even as he pledges, he keeps a room in his mind that no one enters. That room holds the truth, the map, the calculation. And in that room, loyalty is not forbidden, only conditional. It must prove itself every day. It must evolve. If it becomes static, it becomes blind, and the blind do not survive long in the court of wolves. So what then of love, of belief, of conviction? They are useful costumes. Wear them when the audience demands it. But never confuse the costume with the skin. The man who believes too deeply loses the ability to pivot. And politics is pivot, nothing else. Conviction is the stone that breaks the wheel, but flexibility is the spoke that keeps it turning. A ruler must use conviction the way a sculptor uses a hammer, briefly, precisely, and only when soft hands have failed. Use your passion as seasoning, never as sustenance. The feast is made of cold dishes, patience, perception, detachment. Because when the collapse begins, and it always begins, it is not the traitors who flee first. It is the loyal, the ones who clung too long, the ones who bet everything on a future promised by dying men. They will run, but too late, and history will not mourn them. It will mourn no one. This is the cold truth. The world does not remember loyalty. It remembers success. The general who switched sides and won is studied. The martyr who stayed and died is sentimentalized, then forgotten. So choose wisely where your name will land, on the stone or in the book. You do not need to despise those you leave behind. You simply need to stop following them. Compassion does not demand sacrifice, only distance. Let them call you unfaithful. Let them question your heart. They will, until the day they kneel before your flag. Because in time, even betrayal is rewritten by power. Once you win, you were never disloyal, you were early. And that is the only loyalty that matters. Loyalty to the outcome. Loyalty to survival. Loyalty to the future that still breathes when the present has choked. Never mistake stillness for safety. Power moves beneath calm surfaces like a predator under black water. You must learn to feel it, to know when the air has changed even if the banners still wave. When men begin to hesitate before repeating the slogans, when eyes dart before the anthem ends, when laughter rings a second too loud, these are not noises, they are signals. And your task is to respond not with protest, but with preparation. Do not waste time trying to convince. The convinced are already blind. And the blind are dangerous not because they strike, but because they fall on you as they collapse. You do not stand with them. You step aside, always with grace, always with timing, always with a smile. And when the edifice crumbles, you do not mourn. You walk forward, because you were never theirs. You were always the future dressed in the robes of the present. And when they ask, "Where were you when it fell?" you will say, "Building." Every true ruler walks alone, surrounded, yes, by advisors, by generals, by flatterers, but alone. Because to lead is to see what others must never see. That all loyalty is conditional, that every ally is a calculation, that behind every oath there is a ledger. You do not govern men by understanding them. You govern them by understanding what they fear losing. Their loyalty is not to you. It is to their own reflection in your reign. Take that away. Strip them of relevance, attention, proximity, and watch their loyalty turn to acid. So you must never confuse their love for you with need for what you provide. Power is a mirror, not a bond. They are loyal to their image within your world. Shatter that image and you shatter the illusion. And yet the illusion must be maintained. The art of power is to keep them close, but uncertain. Never let them know exactly where they stand. Give them praise, then withhold it. Offer access, then withdraw it. Reward unpredictably, not cruelly, but strategically. Because routine breeds expectation. And expectation breeds entitlement. And entitlement is the seed of revolt. Let them hunger not for food, but for your approval. Let them speak of you behind closed doors, unsure whether you listen. Let them wonder why one man was favored over another. Let them suspect, but never confirm. This uncertainty is not weakness. It is control, because a man who is certain of your love will take liberties. But a man uncertain of his place will tread lightly and obey with enthusiasm. And when you find one who serves without question, who asks for nothing, who flatters without pause, be wary. He does not love you. He is waiting. There is no more dangerous enemy than the perfectly loyal man. He is either broken or rehearsing. You must test him. Give him power in small doses. See how he holds it. See who he speaks to. Let him believe he is trusted. Then observe who begins to orbit him. Because influence is gravity, and even the suggestion of favor will draw satellites. If they come too quickly, too many, too easily, cut him off. Not as punishment, as reminder. Let him return to the crowd, humbled but breathing. A dog that has tasted leash once rarely bites again. But if he persists, if he draws more than he repels, then do not hesitate. Remove him cleanly, without spectacle. Let his fall be quiet, surgical, unseen. Not for mercy, for discipline. A ruler's strength lies not in his public enemies, but in how few of them remain breathing. Because mercy, in the economy of power, is debt, and debt invites resentment. Strike clean, leave no widows, no brothers, no loyalists with cause. You must govern with the awareness that every favor breeds a future threat. So give slowly, take faster, and as you rise, the isolation grows. Do not resist it. It is necessary. You cannot lead among equals. You cannot rule among friends. Even those closest to you, especially, those must know the boundary. Let them feast in your presence, but not at your table. Let them celebrate your victories, but not assume they share them. Let them kneel not from fear, but from understanding. Because the moment they believe they can touch the crown, they will try it on. And so you build distance, not in miles, but in mystery. A glance withheld, a gesture delayed, a word turned sideways. Because power is not just possession, it is performance. You must remain slightly unknowable, not in all things, but in the things that matter. Not too distant, but never fully known. The moment they understand you, they believe they can outmaneuver you. And that is when the game begins to slip. So you must learn to change shape. Be the warmest in the room, then the coldest. Be generous, then indifferent. Be everywhere, then vanish. Let them say, "I knew him once." Let them miss the version of you they believed in, because that version was for them. The real you, the architect, the strategist, the survivor, is for no one. This is not loneliness, this is command. And it is the cost of ruling in a world where loyalty is not born, only brokered. The battlefield has shifted. It no longer bleeds at the edges of empire. It now hums in networks, pulses through algorithms, and whispers through screens. And yet the principle is unchanged. He who controls belief controls behavior. You do not need armies if you can guide what people accept as truth. You do not need chains if they fear stepping outside the story you gave them. The modern throne is not built of stone, it is built of narrative. And loyalty in this age is no longer enforced with swords but with shared illusions. So you must become the storyteller, the scriptwriter, not a fiction of reality itself. Control the frame, and you control the fight. Never engage in debate on your enemy's terms. Shift the terms. Redefine the questions. A ruler does not answer. He defines what an answer is. The key is not to silence opposition. It is to make opposition irrelevant. Let them shout while you alter the terrain beneath their feet. Let them speak, but in a language no longer recognized. Give the people not truth, give them structure. They do not crave authenticity. They crave coherence. They want the chaos to make sense, even if the sense is a lie. Especially if it is a lie. Because lies, unlike truth, can be engineered. And engineered belief is loyal belief. So build a system of thought. A system they can wear like armor. Let them feel righteous as they obey. Let them feel brave as they conform. The best prison is the one they defend. But remember, belief is a tool, not a destination. You are not meant to drink your own poison. The moment a ruler begins to believe the myth he has sold, he becomes its servant. You must always be the outsider to your own system, standing above it, adjusting it, feeding it when it serves, starving it when it threatens. Because no system lasts, and every myth grows brittle. The day will come when the people begin to doubt what once defined them. And when that moment arrives, you must already be rewriting the story. Do not try to hold the old truth in place. Let it collapse, but under your direction. Give them a new belief before they discover the void. Let the transition feel natural. Let them say, "We were always meant to be this," even if it contradicts everything they once swore to defend. This is how you lead a fractured world, not by unifying it, but by managing its fracture. Not by healing division, but by directing it. Let them divide, but along the lines you drew. Let them fight, but over questions that distract them. Let them protest, but in arenas that exhaust them. You are not a peacemaker, you are a choreographer. And the dance is one of appearances. Appear responsive, appear transparent, appear just. But never surrender the lever behind the curtain. Because every regime that collapses does so not from pressure, but from exposure. Let them feel heard, but never let them see the gears. Let them vote, but never let them choose the frame. Let them speak, but drown them in noise. Control is not silence, it is saturation. And in saturation, the loyalist and the dissident both drown, unable to breathe, anything that has not passed through your filters. But do not mistake this saturation for permanence. Every system devours itself eventually. Every belief system hits its contradiction. And when it does, you must be ready to disavow your own creation. There is no legacy, only relevance. There is no truth, only traction. And if you wish to remain to not just rule but endure, you must hold no sacred ground. Let others call themselves guardians of tradition. Let them bind themselves to slogans, flags, constitutions. You are bound to nothing but the pulse of control, the temperature of crowds, the subtle shift in narrative wind. And when it changes, you must change faster. Because the world belongs not to the consistent. It belongs to the adaptable. You will ascend not by chance, not by hope, but by calculation sharpened over years of silence. You will sit where others once stood in awe. You will speak, and the room will fall silent, not out of respect, but because they fear what silence from you means. And yet the throne is not rest, it is vigilance. You will find no peace there, only altitude. And with altitude, distance from the world, from others, from your own reflection. Because to lead is not to be seen, it is to be watched. To be projected upon, interpreted, misquoted, mythologized. You will cease to be a man. You will become a symbol. And symbols do not bleed, not in public. So you will learn to fracture internally, to suffer invisibly, to weigh the lives of thousands in the dead, quiet of your own mind, and carry the cost without confession. You will not be forgiven, not truly. History may absolve you, it may crown you, it may even envy you, but it will not understand you, because the price of shaping the world is to stand outside it. You will learn the cold grace of command, the discipline of never being known, and you will wonder, in some forgotten hour of the night, if it was worth it. You will stare at the ceiling as the weight settles deeper, heavier, quieter than ever before. But you will rise the next morning, not because you are inspired, not because you are proud, but because you must. Because power does not sleep. Because enemies do not wait. Because the machine you built needs fuel, and you are both its master and its prisoner. This is the truth no one teaches. That to win the game is to become the game. To master loyalty, you must abandon the need for it. To rule others, you must never again belong to anyone, not even yourself. You will walk the halls alone. You will see fear in the eyes that once laughed with you. You will sit at long tables surrounded by voices that echo but never touch. And you will know, with a stillness deeper than joy or sorrow, that this was the only path. Not the righteous path, not the noble one, but the one that remained when all illusions were burned away. You appeared loyal until the game changed. And when it did, you changed with it. And now you are the game.